Everybody can stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, would you ensure that your microphone is on?
Yeah, it's on.
It's on, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll do roll call. Council Chericello is online. Owen?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Council Chericello, you there?
Yep, good evening.
Good evening. Council Spencer will not be attending this evening. Council Katz-Koris.
Hi. Hello.
Council Flood.
Good evening.
Council Granessi.
Hello.
Council McEachern.
Evening.
And good evening from the chair.
I thought we were going to say hello.
Do we have a motion to open public forum?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion to open public forum by Council McEachern, second by Council Katz-Koris. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public forum is now open. Please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Steve Trefethen. I'm a realtor downtown. Been gone for a little bit of the winter, but I'm back, so I thought I'd first congratulate the two new members, Mr. McEachern and Dave Granisi, and nice to see some new faces with some experience in the town. And I'm also happy to hear that we have some new liaisons to the planning board that have some knowledge on that too. That's a refreshing thing to see things moving around, so that's good. A few things I have I'd like to say. So the Exit 4A, I'm beginning to do some work on it now. I'm hoping to get some counselor support if needed when the time comes. Right now, we've lost about $5 million in assessed values for the houses that were torn down and the buildings that were taken. State's not paying, it's $125,000 or so a year. It's going to go on for 2 or 3 years, and we're going to lose $500,000. We've got one project over there now by someone who wants to build 5 or 6 small office buildings. We'll get a little bit back there. Won't be maybe $3 million of that. We'll still be short. And then I have most of the rest of the land over there, and I want to do 40,000 feet and probably another $8 million or $7 million there. That would be going to planning. But as that goes down the road, I will keep council abreast of that, and hopefully the state will work along with us to get that done instead of putting it off and trying to split up the land and make everything worth nothing over there.
Yep.
So I'll be working on that, and I'll keep you abreast of that. Just one question I guess I had. I know there was going to be some committees for TIF district for the Exit 4A and also for the downtown. I did apply for the Exit 4A TIF committee, seeing I'd be one of the, at least I am affected for sure, but I hadn't heard nothing back, so maybe Dave, I could have emailed Dave, but I've been so busy since I got in town a few days ago, I forgot to, so maybe somebody can speak to that. Are those committees still ongoing? Are you still picking people? Have you done it and all that? Other than that, I don't have much to say. Thanks. Nice to see you guys, and congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak at public forum? Anyone online, Owen?
Seeing none rise at this time, Mr. Chair.
Chairman, seeing no one online and no one else in the audience, I will move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion to close public forum, second by Council Katz-Koris. On the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Public forum is now closed. Thank you. Consent agenda. We have item 23-58, approved non-public minutes from May 2nd, 2023. Minutes are sealed.
So moved.
We have consent agenda 23-59, approved minutes from May 2nd, 2023. Have agenda item 2360, resolution 2023-034, the BVP grant program. There will be a public hearing on that June 6th. And we have agenda item 2361, resolution 2023-038, to apply, accept, and expend a New Hampshire State Library grant for the preservation of historic documents. That will also have a public hearing on June 6th. And that's it.
So now I'll move to approve the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman, as read.
Thank you. Okay, motion by Councilor McEachern to accept the agenda, second by Councilor Katz-Koris. On the motion, Councilor Katz-Koris.
Yes.
Councilor Flood.
Yes.
Grassy.
Yes.
Councilor McEachern.
Yes.
Councilor Chericello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Motion passes 6-0. All right. Chairman's report. I'd like to invite up the Net Zero Task Force Chair, Jeff Moulton. He will be discussing the Hampshire Municipal Energy Championship Award. I'm going to let you talk about that. I'm not going to ruin this prize.
All right. Yeah, about 5 years ago, the town was awarded by the U.S. Association of Mayors. The runner-up is one of the top cities in the country for energy conservation and innovative methods for implementing that. A week and a half ago, we were also recognized by an association in New Hampshire, consists of municipalities and contractors, associations, and so forth, as the leading town in the state for progressive energy policies and results. And so I'm here tonight to present the trophy to the town council.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Congratulations.
A lot of this is because back 2016, the town council took the strategy to implement the Net Zero Committee and set a very aggressive goal for implementing a lot of the strategies that they were looking for. We get a lot of calls from the surrounding towns asking, what are we doing differently than a lot of the conventional energy committees around? And I have to bring it back to how the committee was formed. An aggressive goal was set. We took that and broke it into multiple goals, but without the overarching goal and the support of the town council, I don't think it would have been possible. So this is a result of a lot of work from the Public Works, the Net Zero Committee, the previous Energy Committee, but a lot of people involved. But congratulations.
Thank you very much for all you do on the task force, and that was Friday at the Hampshire Energy Week conference that was held in Concord, that received
Yes.
that, so. Yeah, great effort
Yeah.
to you and the task force, and like you said, the employees that helped implement all this, and
Good.
who else? Oh, Tom, you're on the, right? Thank you for your work,
Yeah, thank you.
and everybody else who's not here.
Right.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Moulton?
No, just congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you. You can give that to town administrator.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have an appointment to the planning board. There was a vacancy for that. I move to appoint Daniel Healy as a member of the planning board for a term to expire March 31st, 2025.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Counselor Granessi. On the motion, Counselor Katsouris.
Yes.
Counselor Flood.
Yes.
Counselor Granessi.
Yes.
Counselor McEachern.
Yes.
Counselor Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Motion passes 6-0. Dave?
Oh, thank you. Looking at our revenues as of this date, as you know, we have almost 2 months remaining in our fiscal year, and a number of revenue sources have exceeded our estimates for the entire year, including interest earning on deposits, dog license, civil forfeitures, planning department application fees, building permit revenues, and ambulance fees. So we're tracking very nicely towards the end of FY '23. Regarding the Central Fire Station construction, I've signed an agreement with Wendell, which is a construction management firm. So the way we're going to monitor and manage the construction at Central Fire is these folks will help us out, and we're not going to be looking to bid for a general contractor, but instead securing some contractors for various major disciplines of the work. We expect that we'll be issuing packages for site and steel in August. We've recently submitted the alteration of terrain permit. That's about a 90-day lead with the state, so as soon as we receive that permit, we'll be able to proceed to construction. There is a sale of 2 tax-deeded properties scheduled for this Thursday at 2 o'clock off of Chancellor Drive. It's about 35 acres total. And also DPW has awarded a contract to One Stop Home Remodeling and Services to replace the exterior and the deck at the Alexander Car Park Lodge. And a reminder that this Saturday from 9 to 12 at West Running Brook School is Household Hazardous Waste Day. So there's a lot of information on the town's website regarding what types of toxic products you can bring to West Runnybrook. So again, that's going to be this Saturday, May 20th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. And continue looking at the economy is that the federal government recently released the CPI increase for April, and it's down to 3.8%. So hopefully we're seeing prices stabilize a little better. And that concludes my report for this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Questions for the town administrator? Comments? All right. Moving along to public hearings. We have 23-46, Resolution 2023-029, to adopt revised user rate and fee schedules for Derry water customers. Deputy Director of the DPW, Tom Carrier. Good evening, Tom.
Good evening, councilors.
Where's the present? Right up the sliding show. There you go. From beginning. All the way to the left.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good evening, councilors. We're here this evening to reconcile the revenues for the FY24 water and sewer budgets. Initially, the budget was presented with these rate and fee increases. We're here tonight to ask the council to formally adopt them. First off is the, let me go back a little bit here. Two fees that we're looking to increase this year, effective July 1st. The first is for a meter horn assembly. This is a copper tubing apparatus that is required to be installed on all new water services. It includes a check valve and a shut-off valve. Our cost for this piece of this device has increased over the last year, and we're looking to recover those increases. And you'll see it at $416 for a 3/4-inch device and a $788 charge for a 1-inch device. And again, these is primarily for all new water service connections. The second fee is a Merrimack Source Development Charge. This is a charge that we've paid to Manchester Water Works for capacity in the water supply. To recover those costs for the ratepayers, we charge new and expanding users a source development charge that is equal to Manchester's prevailing charge. Manchester increases that charge 3% every year. This increase reflects that from $1,191 for a 3/4-inch residential service to $1,227. To put that in perspective for an impact, a new water service connection in town would cost about $2,643. That would be a $70 increase or 2.6% increase from last year. And again, those are just adjusting the costs directly from what the town increases were. With regard to the rates, the budget that was presented and adopted on May 2nd had a number of significant increases, purchase water being the largest at $118,000. Manchester increased their rates last year by 7%. We had estimated a 3%. Manchester doesn't adopt their rates until June, so we really don't know what those numbers are until after we've adopted our budget. This year, they're planning somewhere between a 10 and 15% increase. We had built in 12% into the budget. So those two increases result in that $118,000. We had purchased some vehicles. Vehicle lease increased by $60,000. A new well, some capital improvements, water main and replacements increased $250,000. That was based on the water system master plan. We were doing $350,000 a year. We've been doing that for several years. We identified a number of critical at-risk pipelines in town that need to be replaced. So we're adjusting that up to $600,000 a year. To mitigate some of the increase, we proposed and included in the budget use of fund balance by about $350,000. And that left the remaining $300,000 to be left on the rates. These are the proposed rate increases. Again, I use the typical 3/4 inch residential service. They pay $27 per quarter. Again, that's per quarter, every 3 months. We're looking at increasing that charge to $30 a quarter. Out of town, our Londonderry customers, they pay a higher charge. They're going from $29 to $34 a quarter. And then you can see the various size classes from inch, inch and a half, all the way up to 3 inch. And then the usage rate currently is at $2.89 for the in-town customers, and we're looking at increasing that to $3.18 per 100 cubic feet. Our out-of-town customers in Londonderry are going from $3.17 to $3.66 per 100 cubic feet. Looking at the impacts of the average water bills, single-family residential could expect to see another $8.51 per quarter. That's almost $3 per month increase in that bill. Duplexes, condos, apartment buildings, they're all in the $1.50 to $2 a month per unit impact on their average bills. The largest impacts, of course, are the larger users, the large industrial users. They could see as much as $146 per quarter or $50 a month increase with these new rates. In Londonderry, our average bill there will increase about $18.55 per quarter, or a little over $6 per month for the Londonderry customers. To see where that puts Derry in comparison with our other water systems in the area, that puts Derry fourth. Again, that's assuming that the increase is adopted. Average water bill in Derry would go to $362 a year, which is about 27% less than the average water bill at $498 a year. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions.
Public forum?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion to open the public forum.
Motion to open public forum by Council McEachran, second by Council Katz-Corus. On the motion, Council Katz-Corus.
Yes.
Councilor Flood.
Yes.
Councilor Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachran.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public forum, public hearing is now open on this matter. If you wish to speak on this or ask questions, please come up and do so. And Owen, you'll let me know if anyone's online.
Seeing none online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, seeing no one online and no one rising inside, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to close public hearing from Council McEachran, second by Council Katz-Corus. Councilor Katz-Corus.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachran.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed on this. Councilors, questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, if there are no questions, I think we've all heard this during the budget season. Tom and his department do an outstanding job keeping the water and the wastewater rates where they need to be and running a very fine and efficient system. And he's been doing it probably for longer than he'd like to remember. But having said that, I would now like to read the resolution so we can adopt this and move on to our next subject, which is Tom again. Resolution number 2023-029, to adopt a revised user rate and fee schedule for the Derry water customer. Whereas RSA 3817 authorizes the town council to enter into a supply contract with another municipality for the purposes of purchasing water for customers of the Derry Water Department, and whereas the town has entered into a wholesale water supply contract with Manchester Water Works to provide water for its customers, and whereas the town council, on occasion and in accordance with RSA 3828, shall review water user rates to remain in compliance with the town's contract with Manchester Water Works to fund necessary capital improvements and ensure the equitable distribution of expenses across all water user classifications. And whereas vendor price increases for meters and other equipment have resulted in an increased cost to the water utility, which charges should be borne by the customers requiring said services. And whereas the Manchester Water Works, Merrimack River source development charges levied upon new and expanding water users, and these increased costs should likewise be borne by the customers requiring said services. Now therefore it be resolved in council that the town of Derry hereby adopts the attached revised user rate, fee, and schedule for the Derry water customers. The resolution shall take effect on all water uses billed on or after July 1st, 2023, Motion adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, motion by Counsel McGuckern, second by Counsel Katsouris. On the motion, Counsel Katsouris.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckern.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you. Tom, again, we'll be discussing 2347, Resolution 2023-030, to adopt a revised user rate schedule for the Derry wastewater customers.
Councilors, similarly, the FY24 wastewater budget saw some significant increases, primarily the electricity. Again, we're looking forward to the solar fields coming online in a couple of years, but in the interim, we're anticipating $137,000 increase in the electric bill over at the wastewater treatment plant. We also have some capital projects that were proposed. The effluent force main replacement, we have a section of pipe that has had 3 substantial breaks over the last couple of years. We are looking at replacing that. We're looking at putting in some dry interceptor sewer in Chenito Road in anticipation of the exit 4A, so that we don't have to go back in later to install that pipe. And the original generator at the wastewater treatment plant, which has been here longer than I have, that tells you something, is proposed to be replaced at $230,000. Similarly, we are looking at using some of the unrestricted fund balance to offset the impact of these increases for one-time expenses. That was about $213,000. That left about $150,000 shortfall to be recovered in the rates. The wastewater, we are proposing to increase the base charge. That's the quarterly base charge for all customers from $41 a quarter to $44 a quarter. Again, that's every 3 months. And the usage rate, which is for 100 cubic feet, is going from $3.70 per 100 cubic feet to $3.89. And then we do have some customers that aren't metered. Their flat charges will increase from $534 a quarter to $534 a year to $564 a year. The impact on the bills, the average bill will go from $446 a year to $472. That's roughly a $6.50 increase per quarter, or a little over $2 per month. Again, you look at the duplexes, condominiums, apartment buildings, they're all in the $1.30 to $1.60 per month per unit increase. Again, the largest impact is to our large industrial users, again, because they use a lot of water and discharge a lot of waste. They'd be looking at somewhere around $85 per quarter, about $28 a month. Revenues from the town of Londonderry. Londonderry is a large customer. Their bills would increase a total of $2,500 a quarter, about $840 a month. Where Derry lies as far as our sewer charges, again, with the proposed increase, we're 4th among our neighboring towns. Merrimack and Londonderry have sort of a flat rate structure, so there's some subsidizing there. But overall, Derry's annual average sewer bill of $472 is about 25% less than the average of $631. And just to see where Derry falls with regard to both water and sewer, because we have a lot of customers that have both. Total water and sewer charges for a year in Derry, for average residential customers, about $835. That ranks us 3rd, and again, about 28% less than the average, which is just over $1,100. So again, Derry's still very favorable when it comes to our water and sewer charges. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Public hearing.
Want to make a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
Motion by Counsel McGuckern, no public hearing, second by Counsel Granessi. On the motion, Counsel Katsouris.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
McGuckern.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now open on this, the wastewater.
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, again, seeing none rise online and not seeing anyone rising here, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion to close public hearing by Counsel McGuckern, second by Counsel Granessi. On the motion, Counsel Katsouris.
Yes.
Counsel
Yes.
Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckern.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed. Questions, comments with Mr. Carrier.
Seeing no comments or questions, I will just make a statement for the audience, Tom, because you kept saying, third and fourth. We are the third cheapest.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
just for clarity for people, when you say, hey, we're third, it's not third most expensive, we are the third most, we are third from the bottom, which is outstanding work again. So just for clarification, we are very cost effective. Having said that, I will read the resolution for the record. Resolution 2023-030, to adopt and revise user rate schedule for the Derry wastewater customer. Whereas RSA 149 I-1 authorizes the town council to construct and maintain public sewer facilities for the public convenience, health, or welfare, and whereas the town has enacted a structure of sewer fees to ensure the system is properly funded, and whereas the town council on occasion, in accordance with RSA 149 I-8, shall review wastewater sewer rents to assure they are adequate revenue are received to fund all operating expenses and necessary capital improvements, and to ensure equitable distribution of expenses across all wastewater user classifications. Now therefore be resolved in council that the town council hereby adopts the attached revised user rate schedule for the Derry wastewater customers. This resolution shall take effect on all sewer usage billed on or after July 1st, 2023, effectively adopted May 16th, 2023.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman McEachern, second by Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Grassy.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion carries 6-0. Moving on to 2349, Resolution 2023-033, to accept New Hampshire DES GWGB grant for lead service inventory and replacement plan. And for those, hold on. The DWGB stands for Drinking Water and Groundwater Bureau, right?
Correct.
All right, let's make sure I had it right. Tom Carrier again.
Once again, Council, briefly, we're here tonight to request the council approve an application for us to apply, accept and expend a grant from the state of New Hampshire for up to $50,000 to be used for a lead service line sampling and replacement plan grant. Quickly, the EPA adopted the lead and copper rule back in 1991. Requires water systems to sample their water systems to see whether they're susceptible to lead and copper in their drinking water. Derry has not had any major issues with regard to lead and copper in our drinking water. However, the lead and copper rule was enhanced in 2021 with some of the issues that had come up. We heard about Flint, Michigan in particular. The new rule requires that we identify any lead service lines, and in Derry we don't have lead service lines, but we have what they called lead gooseneck connectors that way back in the day. Those have all since been replaced. We do have some galvanized service lines out there, so we have to identify where these are and whether or not they're susceptible to any lead that might have leached over the years prior to us replacing those service lines. At least the town maintains the service line up to the shutoff valve, and then the homeowner goes from the shutoff valve into their property. So the state has set up the grant program to help communities put these inventories together, look at where you might want to change your sampling program, and any service lines that may need to be replaced. Those plans have to be submitted to the state per the new regulation by October of 2024. Again, the grant is up to $50,000. It's 100%. There's no match required, so there is no budget impact. It's a reimbursement program, so we will do the work and then submit to the state for a full reimbursement. We are contracting with Underwood Engineers. They're experienced with this type of work. They're familiar with our water system, and they're also familiar with the grant program. With that, I will entertain any questions.
Public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Council McEachern on public hearing, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Grassy.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now open. If you wish to speak on this, please come up and do so.
Owen?
Seeing none rise online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, seeing no one online or no one rising to the occasion, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing. Council McGeckon, second by Council Katsoukaris. Council
Yes.
Katsoukaris. On the motion.
Yes.
Council Flood. Yes. Council Gracie.
Yes.
Council Chair, McGeckon.
Yes.
Council Chair Cello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed. Questions, comments?
Seeing no comments or questions, I will make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-33 to accept the NHDES DWGB grant for lead service inventory and replacement planning. Whereas Section 915 of the Town Charter authorizes the council to accept grant funding, and whereas the Environmental Protection Agency has revised rules which require water utilities to complete an inventory of lead service line inventories, and whereas the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, NHDES Drinking Water and Groundwater Bureau, DWGB, has established a grant program to assist water utilities with rules compliance, and whereas acceptance of this grant will relieve Derry water customers from the cost of this inventory, now therefore be it resolved in council pursuant to RSA 3195B that the town administrator is hereby authorized to apply for, accept, and expend up to $50,000 from the NHDES DWGB to complete a lead service line inventory and prepare a sampling and replacement plan. This resolution shall take place immediately upon passage, should be adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, motion by Council McGeckon, again seconded by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Gracie.
Yes.
McGeckon.
Yes.
Council Chair Cello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Counselor.
Tom. Moving on.
You guys want to stay for the next one?
23-48, Resolution 2023-031 to approve supplemental appropriation for forestry tanker. Fire Chief Jim Richardson.
That's the fire department.
It is a
It
water
does have
thing.
a water
It has
element.
water element to it,
It
yeah.
has a water element. Tom could have done this one, too.
Nah, he don't want to. No.
He did so well.
I know, he does such a nice job.
Yeah. And we're right in the middle of the public hearings, so we're halfway there.
Maybe get some tutoring by him
Be
maybe
good.
at some point, so. Good evening, counselors. Jim
Evening.
Richardson, your fire chief. As you just mentioned, I'm here tonight to request a supplemental appropriation to purchase a new chassis for our forestry tanker. Just a little history of, if you could see, can you see the pictures here? So the picture on the left is the original forestry tanker, and to put this in perspective, this is a 1986 vehicle that we inherited through the consolidation of Derry and East Derry. Very, very valuable piece of equipment for us when it comes to fighting forest fires and brush fires. But to put it in perspective, this vehicle was new when I was a sophomore in high school. So that's a long time.
We
So,
all just got a lot older real quick, didn't we?
Yeah, so-
Phyllis.
My car's that age.
so
already out of high school.
back in 2017, the motor blew in that vehicle, and we rebuilt the motor. Unfortunately, that model that year had a lot of problems with the motor, and it just wasn't a reliable motor. So that's had two motors in it, and it only has, I believe, 10,000 miles on it with a 2063. And it's more geared to it was just a bad motor, a bad year motor, just all kinds of problems with it. So our plan is we felt like we would replace the motor, and then the chassis still had probably another 10 to 15 years worth of life expectancy for it. So we did is we invested about $75,000 in what you see on the right, which was a retrofit of a tank. We call it a forestry skid. And that's, like, we put that in 2018. And so we were hoping that we figured it was probably like a 10 to 15,000, a 10 to 15 year life expectancy. Well, the motor blew again. Back in, let's see, just hit enter. back in March. Our director, our fleet maintenance director, got a call out there, so there was antifreeze all over the floor. He went right through it and determined that it was the motor had blown again. So with that said, we had to look for options to get this piece of equipment back in service, and we looked at a few different options. And we looked at just replacing the motor again, which I think probably would have put us back into the same situation, purchasing a brand-new forestry altogether, or looking at just purchasing a new chassis, which would give us 30 years of service. But basically, that forestry tanker, it's a heavy-duty off-road forestry response vehicle. It's a 1986 Chevy. At this point, the chassis itself would have about an 8 to 10 year life expectancy. It's very hard to find parts for this thing, being the age of it, and any of the local repair shops are very reluctant to look at this thing. And to top that off, the chassis just doesn't meet today's the safety controls or emissions. We have, as you can see here, we have lap belts only. We don't have shoulder belts. So the estimate for a running 1986 C70 right now is selling, if you went out to buy one, is about $5,000 to $15,000. The cost to replace the motor would cost $25,000 to put a new motor in this. So basically, if we bought a motor and put it in it, it would exceed the value of the vehicle to begin with. And with that said, the chassis still only has an 8 to 10 year life expectancy. So if we did purchase a new chassis, which we would like to do to give us another 30 years with this specialized piece of equipment, these are just some examples of what we're looking at. I mean, obviously, you're not going to have the what do you want to call it on the left there? Lost for words. What's that?
The crane.
The crane. There we go. It wouldn't be the crane. It would be what we do is we would take the skid, the forestry skid, and then we would put it on the back of that, and then we'd be good to go. And these are just some examples of what we're looking at. This was the skid that we had designed and installed on that 86 chassis, which cost us $75,000 back in 2018. So, like I said, if we go with the new chassis and we move the current forestry skid over to it, we'll get another 30 years, estimated 30 years of service out of this piece of equipment. And like I said earlier, to purchase a new forestry tanker would be anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000. So with that, if you have any questions.
Public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
You missed it, Phyllis. Motion by Council McGuckin, second by Council Granessi to open public hearing. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris. Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McGuckin. Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wish to speak in this?
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, seeing no one rise online and no one rising here, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing, please.
Second.
Motion to close public hearing, by Council McGuckin, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McGuckin.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes. Public hearing is now closed. Council, questions? Council Granessi.
Question, thank you. Chief, I'm assuming the new cabin chassis will be all-wheel drive?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at the picture, it didn't look like that. The other question would be...
it'll be four-wheel drive, exactly.
Four-wheel drive, yeah. And it would have, you guys would upfit the front of it with all the protection like the old one has, for like all the brush and trees and stuff like that?
Yes,
Obviously.
and a lot of that stuff could be removed from the vehicle we have now, because a lot of that stuff has been updated, so we can reuse it for the new, like lights and brush bars and tools and all that other stuff.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Anyone else? Council McGuckin.
So you're comfortable with the replacement, and I'm going to call it refurbishment path, that we're going to get plenty of life out of this another 20, 30 years, as opposed to a new vehicle, you're comfortable with?
Absolutely. I think this is our best return on investment for
Right.
this, because the forestry skid it was built for longevity.
Right.
And that has easy another 30-plus years of service left in it. So if we just replace the chassis, I think we marriage those things together, we'll be good.
So the 110, is it 110 flat out of the fund balance, or is it a lease payment? What are we dealing with?
What we do is issue a lease payment arrangement where the payments be paid from the fire department capital reserve fund.
How many years?
At that
I see,
price
7.
point, either 5 or 7.
Okay, so it's a 7-year lease payment, and we're all set. You factored this into the capital reserve budget. I mean, this obviously wasn't part of our budget, so I just,
No, what we
after
do.
the fact.
Yeah, we
That's
do
okay.
about a 12-year projection, and we're still in a positive situation moving forward with this by assuming these additional costs.
So this doesn't get in any way with any fire truck replacements or anything else we have to? We're comfortable, we'll have plenty of...
That's
All
correct.
right, excellent. I appreciate it, thank you.
Anyone else? Counselor Grassi?
One other question, Chief.
Sure.
2 questions. How many gallons of water does it hold?
1,000 gallons.
And the old one was a steel tank. I'm assuming this is stainless steel? Poly?
Tank, yes.
Okay,
Plastic.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no other questions from the council, I would make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-031. I see no other questions, so I will read the motion. Resolution number 2023-31 to approve a supplemental appropriation for a forestry tanker. Whereas the town charter establishes the town council as the appropriating authority of the town, and as such is empowered by Section 9(6) of the charter to make supplemental appropriations, after which the annual budget is adopted. And whereas the fire department's 1986 forestry tanker recently experienced malfunctions, which would require significant repairs, and whereas after evaluation, it has been determined that replacement of the chassis is the most cost-effective option to return the apparatus into service, and whereas adequate funds are available in the Fire Department Capital Reserve Fund through a lease purchase arrangement to fund this acquisition, now therefore be it resolved in council that the sum of $110,000 shall be appropriated to rehabilitate the forestry tanker. Further, as agents to expend, the council hereby authorizes the use of the Fire Department Capital Reserve Funds to fund the lease purchase agreement. This resolution has been adopted by 2/3 majority of the entire council as required by the charter and shall take effect immediately upon its passage, if adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor McEachern, seconded by Counselor Katz-Corus. On the motion, I'm going to switch up. Counselor Flood?
Yes.
Counselor Grassi?
Yes.
Counselor McEachern?
Yes.
Counselor Katz-Corus?
Yes.
Counselor Cherichello?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 6-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Oh, help.
Moving along, 2355, Resolution 2023-035, the CDBG authorization for Granite Estates Cooperative Residential Park. We have Donna Lane.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You know, I have to read to you, and I apologize for that, but that's how we do this.
Welcome.
And we have informational packets in the back, if anyone wants one. Community development block grant funds are available to municipalities through the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available for economic development projects, up to $500,000 for housing projects, up to $500,000 for public facility projects, up to $500,000 for emergency funds, up to $25,000 per planning study grant. All projects must directly benefit a majority of low and moderate income persons. This is a proposed implementation community development block grant application to the Community Development Finance Authority for up to $500,000 in community development block grant funds. These are public facility funds. The town will retain up to $25,000, for administrative labor compliance expenses, and the remainder will be subgranted to Granite Estates Cooperative, a 38-unit manufactured housing park located at the corner of 72 Kendall Pond Road and Pine Tree Terrace, and the corner of Gamache and Spruce Terrace in Derry, towards financing their water distribution system. The majority of the households in the park are of low and moderate income. This project conforms with Derry's proposed housing and community development plan's goal of encourage municipal and private water and wastewater systems that are safe, sanitary, and that meet DES regulations. That is a short-term and a long-term goal.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll open a public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to open a public hearing on this, seconded by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. The public hearing is now open. This is going to be for the people at home, so this is going to be little increments, the public comments and questions. So on this first portion, is there any public question or comment up to what Donna just read?
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
And seeing none rise internally, I will make a motion to close the public hearing, Mr. Chair.
Because we can just keep it open, right, Dave? We
Oh,
can keep-
should we just keep?
No,
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 we have to
close
open,
it.
close, open,
All right.
close, yeah.
All right, so motion, Council Katsoukaris, second it?
Yes.
Say, motion to close by Council McEachern, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Public hearing on that portion is now closed. Continue. Thank you.
So we want to open a public hearing on the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan for the Granite Estates Cooperative Project. This plan outlines measures under the Uniform Relocation Act required for CDBG projects that involve any displacement or relocation of persons or businesses. If the town were to undertake a CDBG project which involved displacement or relocation, they would follow this plan. The plan outlines the measures they would take to find comparable, suitable housing for persons or businesses displaced or relocated. This project does not anticipate any displacement or relocation. This is something that has to be adopted every time we ask for CDBG funds, and most of the time it doesn't apply to the projects because it's very rare to do displacement or relocation. But basically, if you use federal funds and you do displace or relocate anybody, you have to follow Uniform Relocation Act. Again, we're doing water line replacements, water system. There is no displacement or relocation.
Mr. Chairman, having heard the explanation, I'm going to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion to open public hearing on this portion by Council McEachern, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now open on this matter. Anyone wish to speak?
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, seeing no one rise online and no one rise internally, I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion to close the public hearing. Council McEachern, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed.
Three more to go.
Want to open it again on this next portion?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion to open the public hearing on the upper room planning study for the CDBG application.
Second.
Okay, motion to open the public hearing by Council McEachern, second by Council Katsoukaris. On the motion, Council Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Council Flood.
Yes.
Council Granessi.
Yes.
Council McEachern.
Yes.
Council Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
Okay, so this is a totally different project, okay? Because while I have you here, we're going through everything. Okay, this is a proposed planning study community development block grant application to the Community Development Finance Authority for up to $25,000 in community development block grant funds. So these are planning study funds now. The town will retain up to $3,500 for administrative expenses, and the remainder will be subgranted to the Upper Room, a family resource center located at 36 Shanita Road, to do a planning study for potential expansion at their facility. The study will provide the Upper Room with an evaluation of the current facility and land for potential purposes for building an addition or modification that would increase meeting and classroom space. The majority of their clients are of low and moderate income, so they're just looking at possibly increasing their space over there. The project conforms with Derry's proposed housing and community development plan's goal of promote activities that protect the health and safety of residents and visitors, which is a short-term and a long-term goal.
Mr. Chairman, following that explanation, I'm going to make a motion to, well, we're asking for public comment right now because we're in a public hearing. So anybody online, Owen?
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Here?
Seeing none want to rise to talk to this? Anybody?
No.
Nope. I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion to close the public hearing, Counsel McGuckin, second by
Yep.
Counsel Katsoukaris. On the motion, Counsel
Yes.
Katsoukaris, Counsel Flood,
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed.
So, Mr. Chairman,
hold on a
following the
second.
protocol, oh, go ahead.
I was going by 2 pages here, and I think so, Dick, we backtrack, go to the last one, because we didn't do the resolution, or you want to, should I just follow through with it,
Just follow through with the
and then go back to it afterwards?
Yeah, we do the resolution.
Okay. All right.
So, Mr. Chairman, following the protocol and how we're going here, I'm going to open a public hearing on the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the Upper Room Planning Study Project.
This might sound familiar to you.
Motion to open public hearing by Counsel McGuckin, second by Counsel Katsoukaris. On the motion,
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing, go ahead.
This plan outlines measures under the Uniform Relocation Act as required for CDBG projects that involve any displacement or relocation of persons or businesses. If the town were to undertake a CDBG project which involved displacement or relocation, they would follow this plan. The plan outlines the measures they would take to find comparable suitable housing for persons or businesses displaced or relocated. Project does not anticipate displacement or relocation. We're just doing a study. Nobody's getting displaced or relocated.
Yeah, so this is about the study for the Upper Room that we just mentioned.
Yep.
Owen, again, looking for public comment. Anybody?
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Anybody here want to talk about any displacement that will absolutely not occur because we're doing a study? Seeing no one rising here, I'm going to make a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved. Second.
Motion to close the public hearing by Counsel McGuckin, second by Counsel Katsoukaris. On the motion, Counsel Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Public hearing is closed.
Mr. Chairman, this is the last in the steps here again relating to Housing Authority and what we've been talking about these last two. So I'm going to make a motion to open a public hearing on the updated Housing and Community Development Plan.
Second.
Motion by Counsel McGuckin, second by Counsel Granessi to open public hearing. Counsel
Yes.
Katsoukaris. Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel
Yeah,
Granessi.
yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Public hearing is open.
So this is on the Derry Housing and Community Development Plan, which you had last adopted in 2017. They outline short-term and long-term goals. You're required to have a current housing and community development plan every time you ask for CDBG, and they're only good for 3 years. So that's why we're going back over this one. So 2017, obviously, it's time to do it again. CDBG requires it, and so it has been updated, the old 2017. CDBG now has a template they like you to use, which includes the current, which includes national and state housing and community development goals, so those have been added. Also now CDBG requires us to have a citizen participation plan attached. We've always followed that plan because those are requirements, like having this public hearing. It's now just written and added to the housing and community development plan. And so the town has looked over the old plan and updated it, so we just want to adopt it, re-adopt it, updated.
Again, Mr. Chairman, following protocol, I'm going to ask Owen, anybody online?
Mr. Chair, seeing none, rise online.
Anybody in the audience wish to speak?
Seeing no one jumping to the opportunity to speak to us tonight, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing. Counsel McGuckin, second by Counsel Katsoukaris. On the motion.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no questions for any of the councilors, I guess it means it's my turn to read. I will go through 3 different resolutions at this time. We'll do
Individually.
one at a time.
Yes.
My first one will be, I move that the town council adopt resolution 2023-35. So if you give me 1 second, I just gotta get to it. The town council, under agenda item 2355, on May 16th, 2023, took the following actions as requested by the Granite Estates Cooperative Residential Park. 2 consecutive public hearings were held on the following informational packets, which were made available to the public. 1, proposed implementation community development block grant application to the Community Development Finance Authority for up to $500,000 in community development block grant funds. The town will retain up to $25,000 for administrative labor compliance expenses. The remainder will be sub-granted to Granite Estates Cooperative, a 38-unit manufactured housing park located on the corner of 72 Kendall Pond and Pine Tree Terrace, and the corner of Gamache and Spruce Terrace in Derry, towards financing their water distribution system. The majority of the households in this park are of low or moderate income. Number 2, the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the proposed Granite Estates Cooperative Water System Upgrade Project. 1, the Town Council approves the submittal of the Granite Estates Residential Cooperative Infrastructure Improvements application and authorizes the Town Administrator to sign and submit the application and any amendments thereto, and upon approval of the CDBG application, authorize the Town Administrator to execute any documents which may be necessary to effectuate the CDBG contract on behalf of the Granite Estates Residents Cooperative Manufactured Housing Cooperative. 2, the Town Council adopts and approves the Residential Anti-Displacement and Relocation Assistance Plan for the Granite Estates Cooperative Water District Improvement Plan. Resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage, if adopted, May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the resolution by Counsel McEachran, second by Counsel Katsoukaris. On the motion, Counsel Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McEachran.
Yes.
Chiaratello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes.
Okay,
Motion passes.
I'm going to jump to, given that we've already had all the hearings, we don't have to go through this again. I am now going to jump to the Town Council adopt Resolution 2023-36, which I will now read. The Town Council, under Agenda Item 2356, on May 16th, 2023, took the following actions as requested by the Upper Room. 2 consecutive public hearings were held on the following. Informational packages were made available to the public. 1, a proposed planning study community development block grant application to the Community Development Finance Authority for up to $25,000 in Community Development Block Grant funds. The town will retain up to $3,500 for administrative expenses. The remainder will be subgranted to the Upper Room, a family resource center located at 36 Shenito Road, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038, to do a planning study for the potential expansion at the facility at 36 Shenito Road, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. The study will provide the Upper Room with an evaluation of the current facility and land for potential purpose of a building addition or modification that would increase meeting and classroom space. The majority of the Upper Room's clients are of low or moderate income. The residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan for the proposed Upper Room Resource Center Planning Study Project. 1, the Town Council approves the submittal of the Upper Room planning application and authorizes the Town Administrator to sign, submit the application and any amendments thereto, and upon approval of the CDBG application, authorize the Town Administrator to execute any documents which may be necessary to effectuate the CDBG contract on behalf of the Upper Room. 2, the Town Council adopts and approves the Residential Anti-Displacement Relocation Assistance Plan for the proposed Upper Room Family Resource Planning and Study Project. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage, should it be adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counsel McEachran, second by Counsel Katsoukaris to adopt the resolution. Counsel Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granessi.
Yes.
Counsel McEachran.
Yes.
Counsel Chiaratello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Motion passes.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, one last one that keeping the string going here. If you just, I am going to make a motion that the Town Council adopt Resolution 2023-37, and I will read it as follows. Adopt the Derry Housing and Community Development Plan. The Town Council, under item 2357 on May 16th, 2023, took the following action associated with the Community Development Block Grant applications. A public hearing was held on the following. Informational packages were made available to the public. 1, update Derry Housing's and Community Development Plan. 1, the Town Council approves Derry's Housing and Community Development Plan. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage, if adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor McEachran, second by Counselor Granessi to adopt the resolution. On the motion, Counselor
Yes.
Katsouris. Counselor Flood.
Yes.
Counselor Granessi.
Yes.
Counselor McEachran.
Yes.
Counselor Cherichello.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Donna.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the formality. All right. I gotta get my place here.
New business.
That was very formal.
It was.
Moving on to new business, 23-62, Resolution 2023-039 to accept a donation and establish a policy for accepting grants and donations in the amount less than $10,000. Town Administrator presenting.
Thank you. The Parks and Recreation Division has received a donation in the amount of $500 from Hayek Jewelers LLC for the senior luncheon program. So, number one, on the resolution 2023-039, we'll recommend that the council approve that gift. Also, we'd like to have the council consider a policy how to manage these. Like, we do receive a number of grants, gifts, and donations throughout the year. So what we're suggesting to do is in the future, any grants, gifts, or donations with a value between $1 and $1,000 be included on the council's consent agenda for adoption, which is in compliance with the statute. Any grants from $1,001 to $9,999 would be adopted by a resolution, which you currently do now with a presentation by a staff member. And then, of course, anything $10,000 and above, state statute requires a public hearing on those issues. So it'll bring more transparency and also will enhance our transparency. It would just bring more efficiency to our operations instead of having staff prepare a staff report for some smaller grants of a de minimis amount. So we'd recommend that the council consider and adopt resolution number 2023-039.
Okay, any questions?
Pretty straightforward. So, seeing no
This
questions.
is not a public hearing.
Yeah. Brian, does Brian have a question? We don't want to leave.
Counselor Cherichello, anything?
No, I'm good.
Good.
Then, having said that, I'm going to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-39 as follows. To accept a donation and establish a policy for accepting gifts, donations, and grants in the amount less than $10,000. Whereas Section 915 of the Town Charter authorizes the Town Council to apply for, accept, and expend funds received from the state, and whereas the Town Council has received donations in the amount of $500 from Hayek Jewelers LLC for the senior luncheon program managed by the Recreation Division, and whereas RSA 31:95B provides flexibility to increase efficiencies and maintain transparency when accepting gifts, grants, donations in amounts less than $10,000. Now therefore be it resolved in council that, 1, the town administrator is hereby authorized to accept the donation in the amount of $500 from Hayek Jewelers for the senior luncheon program, and 2, upon adoption of this resolution, the following procedures to accept gifts, grants, and donations shall remain in effect until rescinded by the town council. A, $1 to $1,000, inclusion in the council's consent agenda for adoption. B, $1,001 to $9,999, adoption by resolution on the council's regular agenda. C, $10,000 and above, adoption by resolution after a duly noticed public hearing. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage, if adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor McEachran, seconded by Counselor Katsouris. On the motion, Counselor Katsouris.
Yes.
Counselor Flood.
Yes.
Counselor Granessi.
Yes.
McEachran.
Yes.
Counselor Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, motion passes. Moving on to 23-63. Resolution 2023-040 to approve the appointment of an interim deputy treasurer. Our interim town treasurer, Stacy, will be presenting.
Good
Hello.
evening.
Good evening.
Hi, Stacy Beliveau, tax collector, interim treasurer. This is Dahlia Regas, our deputy tax collector. And this evening, I wish to have Dahlia appointed as interim deputy treasurer until such time that a treasurer is appointed, and upon that, then I would revert back to the deputy treasurer.
questions?
Makes sense.
Nope.
Mr. Chairman, seeing no questions and seeing Mr. Cherichello has not raised his hand, I move that the Derry Town Council adopt Resolution 2023-040, and I will read it as follows. Whereas RSA 4129A allows the town treasurer to appoint a deputy treasurer with the approval of the town council, and whereas a vacancy exists in the position of treasurer, which has required the deputy treasurer to act as the treasurer, and whereas governmental efficiencies warrant the appointment of an interim deputy treasurer who may act in the absence of the acting treasurer, whereas the acting treasurer has appointed Dahlia Regis, am I saying that right? Yes. Thank you, as interim deputy treasurer, who shall perform all the duties of the town treasurer in case the treasurer's absence, and therefore be it resolved in council that the appointment of Dahlia Regis as interim deputy treasurer has been approved. The resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage and shall expire upon the confirmation of a new town treasurer. Should this be adopted May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, motion by Counsel McGuckin, second by Counsel Katz-Corus. On the motion, Counsel Katz-Corus.
Yes.
Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granossi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Passes.
for your
Thank you
time.
very much. Sorry you guys had to wait through all the formal stuff. Thank you.
We know it was riveting for you, so, you know.
We're almost done. All right. Old business. 23-64, ordinance 2023-002. To reconsider the adoption of ordinance 2023-002, amend chapter 150 of the general code, restricting parking at Ryder Field. So we took a vote in this last meeting. Being on the prevailing side, I had requested that we bring it back up for a reconsideration to amend the date on it. So first off, I would need a motion to reconsider. So we need to take a vote on that.
Motion to reconsider number 2023-002.
Second.
So motion, McGuckin, second by Counsel Katz-Corus. On the motion to
Yes.
reconsider. Yes. Counsel Flood.
Yes.
Counsel Granossi.
Yes.
Counsel McGuckin.
Yes.
Counsel Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So basically, what I would like to do, so it was 30 days effective date after we had put it into ordinance, once we passed it, so that was May 2nd. So would have brought it to the beginning of June. School doesn't get out till towards the end of June, so just not to be more disruptive than we have to be, I figured it'd be easier just to have this go to June 21st. This way, it's not interrupting finals or any of the kids' remaining of the year, and then start afresh at the beginning of the school year. This way, we can do better education, get it out there, let people know whatnot. So, any questions on any of that?
Nope, makes sense.
Comments?
Makes sense.
So,
Okay, Mr. Chairman, seeing no
hold on a
questions.
second. And I know Chief Ioli they've already been up there and they've already started doing some flyers or whatnot. But now they're gonna have to go out and do a little bit more for the extension, right?
Yeah, what they'll do is they've stopped those activities, and they'll re-engage with the students in Pickerington prior to the school year and also in September. And then enforcement will start shortly thereafter for the next school year.
Right, okay. And again, this way, it's less disruptive to everybody and
Yeah.
we can kind of start from fresh.
So just a simple question. I see in the motion, Dave, in the package, it has June 20th and the resolution the 21st. Which one do you want?
21st, please.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if there are no other questions, I'm going to move.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Oh,
Council
wait.
Cherichello, go ahead.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
So does the chief, the police chief, know that we're doing this?
Yes.
Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Yep, I reached out to the town administrator initially, and then he reached out to the chief, and it's not a big issue, and again, if anything, it just gives us more time to do proper education and information. So. All right.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, now that we've answered Councilor Cherichello's question, I'm going to move we readopt ordinance 2023-002 as 2023-002A with a new effective date of June 21st, 2023. You still need me to read?
Yes.
I will read the whole ordinance then. Ordinance 2023-002A. amended Chapter 150 of the General Code restricting parking at Ryder Field. Whereas Section 5.1 of the Town Charter designates the council as the governing and legislative body of the town, and pursuant to Section 6.1, the council shall legislate by ordinance, and whereas the town has recently completed improvements at Ryder Field parking lot, whereas the area is being used as parking lot for Pinkerton Academy, by the Pinkerton Academy students, and whereas said use has resulted in disturbances to the neighborhood, maintenance issues, public safety concerns, now therefore the town of Derry ordains that Chapter 150, Article 1, Section 156D of the General Code, Streets and Sidewalks, I hereby amend to institute a 2-hour parking restriction at Ryder Field from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays during the school year. This ordinance shall take effect June 21st, 2023, should it be adopted on May 16th, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Counselor McGeckern, second by Counselor Katz-Corus to adopt the resolution. On the motion, Counselor Katz-Corus.
Yes.
Counselor Flood.
Yes.
Counselor Granessi.
Yes.
Counselor McGeckern.
Yes.
Counselor Cherichello.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Motion passes.
Yep.
Counselor comments.
I have one.
Counselor Flood, go ahead.
This past Saturday, Pinkerton teacher Lonnie Buskey and a bunch of students put together a cornhole tournament up at the lower sports field at Pinkerton. They drew almost 30 teams, mostly kids, on a Saturday. All the money raised is for their mental health programming. And earlier that week, Community and Theater Making, a group of students, they put on 5 short plays that they were all written, produced, and acted by the students, all depicting various mental health issues and suicide prevention mechanisms. All the money they raised was going to NAMI, New Hampshire. This just further demonstrates that we are in good hands with this generation. They just need a little bit of guidance and a little bit of confidence, and we just need to listen to them. Nice work being done at Pinkerton. They get a lot of grief because they, it's a tough subject, but there's people there doing a lot of good work. I just want to acknowledge them.
All right, great, thank you. Anyone else? Do you have anything? Let me get the date right here. Saturday, June 3rd, the Derry Touch-A-Truck will be taking place at West Runningbrook Middle School. There will be food vendors, there'll be lots of trucks there, there'll be ice cream, lots of food, and they have an entertainment this year, the bike riders again for entertainment.
I know we'll be distributing bike helmets, and I think they're trying to secure that team again.
Okay. All right. So that's June 3rd. Anything else?
If there's nothing else, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.